My journey starts with me as a conservation biologist running organizations that have been focused on the nexus between conservation and human development. And I ran 2 foundations before I joined Equity. So when I was recruited onto the board of Equity, they asked me to join initially the board, then management. Was because of the experience I had running foundations. At the time I was the president of the African Conservation Center. We had just moved our headquarters into Nairobi and I was managing that in Karen, and I was in charge of a program that spanned about 15 countries in Africa. A lot of my contribution really focused on impact. It focused on foundation. I saw the potential and the possibility that Equity Bank had to really transform lives of people in the countries where it's invested in socio-economic development because of its reach through the branches, because of its reach through agents. Women are 51%? 51% of the population. Anyone who leaves that many people behind isn't doing a good job in transformation. If you transform partial society, you really haven't done the job. Transformation is about taking everyone along, both male and females, because males and females have very different but complementary roles in society. If you leave one, it's like limping. It's, having 2 legs, but you choose to use one, you will limp along. You walk slower, it's more tedious, you're not as efficient, you're not as effective. The way women interact with society, the kind of relationships they have with people in the office, the kind of relationships they have with people in the family, I would say is very different from men. We are good business people, but you're also nurturing people. We like to bring people along. When we were selecting students, the Wings to Fly students, we made sure that we had as many girls as we had boys. Oftentimes it meant that we took girls who had a slightly lower mark than the boys in the program. Why? Because when we went to the kind of places where we were selecting the girls from, what we found is that the way in which girls live in the home and the roles that they have in the home oftentimes really disadvantage them. And it is worse in poor families where children become labor and girls become more labor than boys do. So when you put them together on the same platform of education, the burden she carries of being female means that she spends less time reading, she spends less time doing schoolwork. It means she has lost days because perhaps the parents have not afforded to deal with her menstrual cycle issues, so she's missing out on schools. Oftentimes we found that when parents had to select between a boy and a girl, when there was a shortage of fees, they chose a boy. We really did have to make very special consideration in order to get enough girls in school. But when we got them to school, we found that they picked up just as fast. I've never really gone to work as a woman. I've always gone to work as a professional. If I had gone to work as a woman, I would have given up a long time ago. Strong professional first, female second, rather than woman first and then strong professional. Because you go into these places not as women, you go into these places as professional. You're excellent and exceptional at what you do. You should not feel that there is any value lost or any undermining of value because of your gender. You have to work as hard, if not harder. You have to learn, you have to continue to train yourself, and it's really important to stand up for things that are really important to you, that you believe in. Some of them will be considered very feminine, but don't describe it in gender terms. Just describe it as something that's important. It's a principle, it's a value, and they're important values. They're gender neutral. It's also nice to mentor young women because they come with some very different needs and expectations. A lot of them because of the way they've been raised, a lot of them because of cultural expectation.